He checked in under a fake name. No luggage, no ID, no past. 3 days later, he was found dying, tortured, beaten, and whispering one final word: nobody. This is the haunting, unsolved mystery of room 1046, the man with no identity. January 2nd, 1935. A tall, thin man walks into the President Hotel in Kansas City. He signs the guest book as Roland T. Owen, asks for a small interior room, number 1046, and pays for one night. The clerk notices something strange. The man carries no luggage, just a comb and a toothbrush. The bellboy takes him upstairs, and as they enter the dim, windowless room, the stranger says something eerie. "Please, leave the door unlocked. I'm expecting a friend." Over the next few days, hotel staff begin to notice strange behavior. The curtains in room 1046 are always drawn. The lights stay dim. The maid recalls that every time she came in to clean, Owen was sitting silently in the dark. Once, she heard him say softly, "Don't mess with the towels. Someone's coming." Later, she overheard another voice in the room, a deep, angry male voice. But when she returned hours later, the room was empty. On the morning of January 4th, the hotel phone operator noticed the phone in room 1046 was off the hook. A bellboy was sent up to check. He knocked. No answer. He opened the door slightly and saw Owen sitting on the bed, in the dark, completely naked. Thinking he was drunk, the bellboy left. But hours later, the phone was still off the hook. When staff entered again, they froze. Roland T. Owen was kneeling on the floor, covered in blood. The walls, the sheets, even the ceiling, splattered. His wrists and ankles were tied with cord. When police arrived, they asked him what happened. He whispered, "Nobody did this to me." Then he collapsed. Owen was rushed to the hospital, but it was too late. He died shortly after, from stab wounds to the chest and skull fractures. When investigators checked his name, they found nothing. Roland T. Owen didn't exist. The address he gave? Fake. The city he claimed to be from? Didn't know him. His fingerprints matched no records. His family? Never found. He was buried as a John Doe. But months later, something strange happened. Someone called the funeral home, asking about the man from room 1046. They said they wanted to pay for his burial. They refused to give their name. A few days later, a bouquet of roses arrived with a card that read, "Love Eternal." The sender was never identified. Detectives tried to solve the case for years. Some believed Owen was part of a love triangle, that the man's voice heard in the room belonged to a jealous lover. Others said it was a mob hit, an execution made to look personal. But there was no weapon, no fingerprints, no witnesses. Just a dead man, with no past, and a fake name. Decades later, researchers uncovered a lead. A woman claimed that Roland T. Owen was actually her missing son, Artemis Ogletree, who disappeared around that same time. But even that didn't solve the puzzle. Who was the man in the room? Who paid for his funeral? And what really happened that night? To this day, room 1046 remains one of America's most chilling hotel mysteries, a case with no clear answers, just silence, and the haunting question, who was the man with no name? If you were found tomorrow with no ID, no records, no past, would anyone know who you really are? Subscribe, and I'll tell you another story that never should have been forgotten.